Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Satsangat Ji, it is always a great honor and privilege to be with you. In this time of this Kali Yuga, this darker age, there's much stresses that we're feeling in our lives. Through Gurbani, we can help to understand these times that we're facing. This world, we can say now, is like an upside-down world. It's very different. But Guru Sahib has given us a technology, a science, a way of life to not only understand what is happening in this time, but that how we can survive individually through these times and how we can grow strong as a Sangat. Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj gave us a science to live by, a way of life that can help us understand within our own selves, our own nature, our own way of being. And he gave us a discipline to live by. That discipline was very perfect and very scientific. To understand that a human can reach their full potential mentally, physically, and within our spirit. And how did he give us that? What technology did he share to give us that understanding? Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj took all the teachings of all our gurus and understood the science of living and the vibration of Gurbani in the heart and the soul of every being. When we vibrate Vaheguru, 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 not only does it give us an internal balance, but helps to open up our mental understanding, our mind, to see beyond a limitation of our personal self. What that means, Satsangat Ji, is that in these times where we are facing many different pressures, that the mind can either collapse, we can fall apart, we can become depressed, we can say that we don't understand what's happening, we can live in a shell, but that isn't a way of life. Guru Nanak Dev Ji gave us a way of living to live in this world, to understand what it means to live in this world. And the key is a meditative mind. Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj gave us the Panch Baniya, to read Bani every single day, to meditate every single day, to do Simran every day, to be with Sangat every day, to bring our forehead to Matta Tek at the feet of our Guru every single day. For what reason? So that we would have that balance of body, mind, and spirit. Without a balance, we lose this life. Without a balance, it's very, very hard to live day to day. But when we are balanced, reading Bhat every day, being with Sangat, sharing, it opens up within inside of us a deeper sense of self-understanding and allows us to understand through our intuitive mind the ebb and the flow of life. Oftentimes, Gurbani says, use that intuitive mind. Understand God intuitively. But we don't develop this intuitive mind. What develops it for us is meditation, is Nam Simran. What develops that meditative mind is being able to open up our consciousness, open up our awareness, expand our mind. We use that word devotion. And what is devotion? Guru Sahib teaches us that devotion is a divine ocean. It's huge, it's large, it's vast. It has no beginning, it has no end. That is the consciousness of the universe. And when we link our consciousness to the consciousness of the universe, then we become unlimited. And Gurbani is the direct source of light, of sound vibration, of devotion, that opens us to that, what I call, Gulf Stream of consciousness. It expands us into that light of awareness that then activates that intuitive mind through the power of Gurbani, through the power of Nam Simran. When we recite our Banis, there's a vibration. It's the technology that we call Shabad Guru. The technology of the vibration of the sound current of Gurumukhi that vibrates, and physiologically that means within our physical body, it has a very direct influence. That influence, which creates that vibration of sound, ek, onkar, sat, nam, that sound vibration itself, that opens up the channels of our mind. There's a vibration to the sound that works within our physical bodies that opens up those channels within to experience within our own minds an elevated sense of self. That means it gives us a greater connection to the universal vibration of this universe. So Guru Nanak Dev Ji understood that there's the two parts within each of us. That one part we call our finite self, that part which is known to us. Finite means that we can touch, we can feel. If somebody pinches me, yes, I go ouch. So there's that one part, which is our finite self. That word finite means that which we know. But Guru Tara said there's also that other part of us, which we call the infinite self. What is infinity? Infinity means beyond the physical. Finite means that which is physical. Infinity means that which is beyond physical. And the link then is from the soul, we call the soul Atma. This soul which in each of us that we call Atma vibrates. And through Gurbani, through the opening of those channels that create that opening within our intuitive consciousness to open us to that awareness of the universe, brings us from that Atma within each to Paramatma, to feel the infinite soul. The Atma is finite within us. Paramatma is infinite. It exists beyond self. Yet the mastery of our gurus was to give us that understanding, that that infinity of that consciousness, of that vastness, is not outside of us, but that it exists within inside, and we can have that experience. That is the difference. I've studied many, many teachings on this planet, many different kinds of technologies and sciences. But in my studies, not one taught me that understanding. That infinity of consciousness, which I feel, is not just outside of me, but it is an experience which is inside of me. Guru Nanak Dev Ji taught that God lives in you. It's not separate. The Western societies teach that there's a separation, that God lives someplace else and you live on that other side. And either somebody has to take you to that God, or something else has to give you that experience, or some even say you can't experience that. Guru Nanak Dev Ji said that's not true. He said every single person can have the experience of God within themselves. And what gives us that experience of that infinity which exists within us is Gurbani. Gurbani talks about the Panch Tattva, the five elements, the air, the earth, the water, the fires, the ether, that exists within the cosmos, that exists within the entire universe. But that also those Panch Tattva, those five elements, exist within each of us, in this human form, in the finite. So those five elements, Panch Tattvas, exist within my finite self, but they also exist within my infinite self. The relationship of that experience comes through Gurbani, comes through the repetition of the Nam. When this human body, this form, can vibrate at that frequency, because we're not separated from all that exists. We are part of that creative existence. There's a creator who created us as creatures to have a creative existence on this planet. And our gurus brought that creative existence in a way that has never been taught. And when I started to study those teachings and studied the Gurbani, I said, what is this? What is this experience? What is this feeling that I'm sensing? I've never felt that connected. And in this Kali Yuga, in this time of life, in this society, in this situations we have throughout the world, the biggest element is that we're not connected. We feel disconnected from what is going on. When we feel disconnected from that part of ourselves, in that disconnect, that's when we get sick. That's when we become depressed. That's when we feel alone. That's when we feel that total separation from God. And Guru said, doesn't matter there's sorrow, doesn't matter there's extreme happiness, is all one vibration, is all the same. Because in a balanced intuitive consciousness, in a relaxed physical body, then all that flows through is just Ek Onkar Satnam Vaheguru. All that flows through is just Vaheguru. There's no up, there's no down, there's no plus, there's no minus. There's just Vaheguru. And Vaheguru vibrates in our hearts, vibrates through our Atma, vibrates in our consciousness, and creates a balance so that our mind becomes strong. Bani creates that strength of mind, that courage of mind. One day someone asked me, what is Khalsa? I said, Khalsa is simple. That through every up and down, that through every thick and thin, that through every plus and minus, one remains a Khalsa. There's no wavering. There's no doubt within one's own self of what that power within each of us combined together creates a Sangat that gives us the strength, the courage to survive. I meet so many people within our Sangat, so many people we meet throughout the world of different faiths, different nationalities. And we see that there's a lot of suffering in this world. We see that within our own Sangats, our youth, our young people are very confused. On the overall is changing in these years I've seen. But still there's a confusion within our Sangats and a confusion within our young people. They're not being given the road to travel in a clear consciousness. We're not teaching them the values of what it means to live as Guru Sikh. If we don't live it ourselves, then how do they live it? If we don't become those examples, how do they know it? If we don't share the experience, how do they have their own realization? Some may come to it because it's deep in their heart, deep in something they feel. But many, many others are turning away. And I asked some of our young people, young women, young men, why are you turning your back on this? Why are you leaving Sikhi? Why aren't you making that commitment of understanding? And many times they say to me, we don't understand. We have no understanding of what it means to live Sikhi. We have no understanding of what is the value of these teachings, because nobody is teaching to us. And they don't want fanatic, and they don't want to be told what to do. They won't listen that way. This generation is different. They need to be talked to. They need to be given the understanding. They need to be given the guidance to show them, to teach them. What is that benefit? What is that reality? What is that purpose of living the Sikh way of life? Living as Khalsa. If they feel it's just a religion, and that religion they don't even understand it, then they'll turn their back from it. Why should they keep their hair? Why should they wear Guru's bana? Why should they go to the Gurdwara when there's no connection? And the fault is not the children. The children learn from their parents. Children learn from their environment. So Satsangaji, we have to create that environment that our children feel that they're welcomed, where we can teach them an understanding of the value of Gurbani. What is the value of the Sikh faith? Guru Nanak Dev Ji didn't go to make a new religion. I don't believe that in his mind he said, now I'm going to make a new religion. My understanding is Guru Nanak Dev Ji just wanted to spread a humble and simple teaching of the value of humanity, the power of the meditative mind of Nam Simran, and that everyone was created equal, and that every single person can achieve liberation in this lifetime. That we didn't need rituals, that we didn't need even religions, simply the vibration of the Nam. And he traveled tens of thousands upon thousands of miles, spreading a simple teaching of the oneness of God, of the truth of life, of earning honestly, of sharing what we have, and Nam Simran, of meditating, creating the balanced mind. He said, work very hard. Kirit Kado, he said, work very hard. Be part of this society. Don't move yourself outside of it. But we have to feel that. Gurbani says you can recite every Veda, you can recite every book in a library, and still have no knowledge. Guru's taught us a way of life, a way of living, a day-to-day practice that helps us keep balanced, waking up in the Amrit Vela before the sun rises, and feeling that energy of that time, and going into the stillness within yourself in the Amrit Vela, and feel that experience, and then go to your day. But we don't sometimes understand that. We're so stressed, so nervous, so uptight. We wake up, get ready, go out, do this, do that, go out, and we forget what is Vaheguru. We forget what is the Nam. We don't take even that little bit of time for ourselves every day in the Amrit Vela, because that is a still time of the day. Before the phones are ringing, everything is going busy. It's a still time. And when we merge into that still time, we become still. When we do Pat at that time, when we do Simran at that time, when we exercise our body, we do that sadhana, that spiritual practice every day. Only one thing you can get and benefit. But that time has to be taken for your own spiritual development and your own calmness and balance. It's a simple formula. Guru says, give me 10% of your day, 2.4 hours. 10% of your day. And Guru says that other 90% I'll look after. I'll take care of it for you. Don't worry about it. I know every day as I do my sadhana, as I do Simran, as I do Pat, then my day becomes balanced. Because all day long I'm vibrating the Nam. All day long that Pat is moving through me. And I feel it. And no matter what I'm doing and where I am or who I'm with or what my activity is, I know that Guru is always at my side. And that vibration of the Nam is always within inside of me. There's never a separation. So then my day flows. And when I flow into that day, not only am I feeling good about myself, but as I flow into that day and inspire that intuitive mind within myself and inspire this consciousness to go further and to break through any limitation, then I have the energy. Then I have the stamina. Then I don't say, oh, I'm too tired for this, I'm too tired for that. I can't do this, I can't do that. There's no way I can do this, there's no way this or that. Then we make 10,000 excuses. And we spend more time making excuses, trying to cover for ourselves what we're not doing, that if we took even a small percentage of that time out, we'd be able to do whatever we want. We'd have time to do our practice. We'd have time to read Japji Sahib every single day. But we waste so much time in our emotions, so much time in our commotion, so much time in our depression, So much time in our negative mind, so much time in what is wrong, that we forget what's right. And we forget how we can become right. And this is the technology. Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj gave us that final technology to live as Khalsa. Each of our gurus expressed an understanding, a teaching, advanced a teaching of self-understanding, of self-healing. And it was simple. Devote to the oneness of God. Devote to that understanding that all people are created equal. Bow at the feet of the Guru. Do mat to take. And say, Guruji, I'm yours. You guide me on this day. But when we see it the other way, all I want to do is control. I've got to control everything and everyone else around me. If I'm not in control, if I lose control, if I'm not controlling everybody. But what does that control give you? Illness, depression, nervousness. And mind becomes cloudy. Decision-making becomes weak. Satsangaji, in these times, we have to make strong and clear decisions for ourselves and for our circumstances and for our environments. And that consciousness of awareness of sound decisions comes through the vibration of the Nam. Otherwise, this mind becomes overloaded. If we think that only thinking and just thinking, and that's all we think, and think all the time and say, I can think my way through anything, and I can think anything out, and I can think, what do we end up? We end up with a headache. But what is the other way? When we feel the flow of Guru within us, when we feel that flow of consciousness, when we are relaxed, when Gurbani is always vibrating 24/7 within us, and we're relaxed and calm and feel that calmness, then those decisions become clear to us. They're already made for us what we have to do next. In English we say you can go and get and run after everything and try to get what you want and run after it. And Guru says, relax, be, receive. Receive what is already there and what already exists for you to have. Open that channel through Gurbani. Satsangaji, is my greatest privilege to be with you, to share with you the simple way of life that I learned, that Guru has taught me to live. And it's not that every day things don't happen and I have to deal with this problem, this situation, this came up, that came up. Yes, life is a challenge. Life is a test. Life is a trial. But what did Guru teach us? That through that test and through that trial, we have to triumph. We have to win it. So let us win it through Gurbani. Let us win it through our devotion. Let's win it as a Sangat. Let's help spread peace onto this planet at a time of great unrest. Let us be those standard bearers, just as that Nishan Sahib is so tall and so straight and so solid and so firm, that we become that understanding within ourselves to help bring peace to this world, to become leaders of consciousness, to spread a message of love and light to all people. And as Khalsa, to be firm and strong within ourselves. And that comes through our spiritual practice. My humble prayer is that we prosper by Guru's grace, that we share this to the world, that our prayers for peace are heard, and that this craziness and insanity comes to an end, so our children, their children, and future generations can embrace at the feet of the Guru the true Nam, that Ek Onkar Sat Nam shall be their call for unification. And let us unify as a Sangat in these times to bring happiness and peace. And we can. And that has to be our decision. Satsangaji, may we prosper by Guru's grace. May we have that self-understanding. And may we heal within ourselves to spread a teaching of light, love, courage, compassion, and kindness. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
Vaheguru, 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 Vaheguru. Kaval nain madhur bain, kaval nain madhur bain, kot sen sang so